Hi, I'm Bianca. Welcome to Learn English with Bianca. Today's story is about Elena, a woman in her 50s who lost her job because of English. But that wasn't the end of her story. It was just the beginning. Elena was 54 years old. She had worked in the same office for over 15 years. She answered phones, helped customers, and kept things organized. She didn't speak much English. Just a little from school many years ago. Then one day, everything changed. Her company started working with clients from abroad. Suddenly, everyone was using English in meetings, emails, and phone calls. Her boss called her in. "Elena, we need you to handle international communication. Can you manage that in English?" She paused. I can understand a little," she said quietly. But inside, she was scared. In the following weeks, Elena tried to keep up. She used Google Translate. She asked her son for help. She guessed the meaning of emails, but during meetings she often felt lost. The words were too fast, the accents were difficult, and she was afraid to speak. One Friday afternoon, her boss sat her down. "Elena," he said gently, "you've been a great employee for many years. But we need someone who can speak English fluently now." That was it. She had lost her job. She sat on the bus home with tears in her eyes. She thought, "I'm too old to learn. I don't have money for classes. What am I going to do?" But the next morning, she looked at herself in the mirror and said, "No, I'm not giving up." She picked up her phone and typed, "Learn English for free." Elena didn't have a teacher. She didn't go to a language school. But she had time, and she had motivation. She began small. Each morning, with her coffee, she listened to short English stories on YouTube. She watched beginner videos, clear, slow, with subtitles. She paused the video after each sentence and repeated it aloud. It felt like talking to someone. She found a method called shadowing. Listening, pausing, and repeating the sentence with the same pronunciation and emotion. She started a notebook. Each day she wrote 5 new words and used them in short sentences. She labeled things in her house: mirror, fridge, window. She spoke to herself while cooking or cleaning. "Now I'm making tea. I have 2 emails to answer. I need to buy some bread." At first she made mistakes. She forgot words. But slowly, day by day, her English improved. She practiced every day, sometimes only 15 minutes, sometimes longer. She didn't have a perfect study plan, but she kept going. She even recorded her voice and listened. At first, it felt strange, but after a few weeks, she noticed progress. "I sound more natural now," she thought. She joined a free online group for adult learners. They were also beginners, nervous but brave. That helped her feel less alone. One day, she heard a local cafe was looking for help. It wasn't her dream job, but it was a chance. She sent an email in English. Hello, my name is Elena. I'm learning English. I have experience with customers. I would love to work in your cafe. They invited her to an interview. She was nervous, but she understood most of the questions. She spoke slowly but clearly. They smiled and said, "We like your energy. We'll give you a try." Elena started working at the cafe. She welcomed customers, served coffee, and learned new words every day. Sometimes she made mistakes, but nobody laughed. Everyone saw how hard she tried. After a few months, her manager said, "Elena, your English is really good. Have you ever worked in an office?" That evening, Elena thought deeply. She liked the cafe, but she missed office work. Now that she spoke better English, maybe she could try again. She updated her CV, this time in both English and her native language. She applied for a part-time office job at a small logistics company. At the interview, she said, "I'm still learning, but I can understand emails, calls, and meetings. I'm not perfect, but I try every day." They gave her a chance. A few weeks later, Elena started her new office job. She answered international phone calls, sent simple emails in English, and took part in meetings. She kept studying after work, 15 minutes a day, just like before. One day, her manager said, "Elena, I heard you learned English all by yourself. That's impressive." She smiled and said, "Yes, and I'm still learning." Thank you for listening to Learn English with Bianca. If you feel like Elena, remember, you don't need to be perfect. You just need to start. Subscribe for more stories, and I'll see you next time.